So, everyone, a very warm welcome, and let's start with the 2-day journey into research methods. Introduction to research methods. Basically, we are not going to see everything about research because the process itself is very lengthy, cumbersome, tiresome. So, we are just going to have an overview of research methods, the different methodologies that we can use. I hope we have a mix of LLB, LLM students, also those who are pursuing PhD, also some of those who are actually, we can say, practicing law, or they are working in different departments or working with NGOs. So research is a facet that we all know of and we are all facing it every day. So let us go into the nitty-gritties and let's find out what are the different methods of research. Some basic rules, yes, keeping audio video off, that's the basic thing. And if you have any questions, I would like to take them tomorrow. Let's start with the research topics first today, and we'll go to the questions and queries tomorrow. What is research? So before we begin with research methods, let us first understand research is something that is a part of our everyday life. Okay, research is something that we are doing day in and day out. Whether we do a market research, whether we try to find out what is the latest fashion, or we try to get knowledge of the latest technology, what is the latest trend in the share market, everything amounts to research. Research, the word itself tells us that we are searching for something. We are trying to get more knowledge about any topic, about any concept. So research is something we do every day. Okay. The focus of these 2 days, today and tomorrow, would be legal research, because scientific research is a little different than legal research. As we are going to talk about research in the law field, it is going to be connected to human beings. It is going to be related to human behavior, maybe a little bit of the crime field, little bit of the court scenes, all of these. We are not talking about laboratory research or scientific research. Okay. So what is research? Research in simple terms would mean an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge, making for its advancement. It is the pursuit of truth with the help of study, observation, comparison, and experiment. So what do law students do, or what do law interns do, what do lawyers or the judges do? What do they have to do? They have to find out what is the truth. They have to find out the different provisions of the law. That is what we do. We try to find out certain solutions to some problems with the help of research. So even when you are doing PhD or you are doing any particular research, you're working on a research project, what is the major thing that you do? You have to continue to find out certain solutions to some contemporary problems with the help of study. That is, you try to get into different sources of research, observation, comparison, comparing different doctrinal and non-doctrinal sources, comparing different texts, treatises, books, judgments, okay, comparing different research articles, that is comparison, maybe the judgments of the International Court of Justice, maybe the judgments of our Supreme Court, High Court, so that is comparing, and finally experiment. So research is basically anything and everything that we have to do to get new knowledge. As per Sandra Halperin, political scientist and professor of international relations at the University of Sussex, UK, research that we do should have a systematic inquiry into current day problems and be of contemporary significance. Research has to be of contemporary significance. If I want to know something, I would have to read a lot, I would have to research, but it has to have some relevance in the current times, the times that we live in, the times that I am living in. I cannot research about something which is already done and dusted by somebody else. Say, for example, if I want to talk about artificial intelligence, that would be a contemporary topic, or cyber crimes, that would be a topic that I would like to research upon. I would not think about a topic which has already been dealt with by somebody else. something which is already quite obvious, something which is not that new or which is not a contemporary problem. So research will always be important to us if it tries to solve a particular problem, especially which has contemporary significance. Research is basically systematic, scientific, rigorous investigation of a situation or a problem in order to validate existing knowledge or to generate new knowledge. Existing knowledge, when do we try to validate? When do we try to focus on existing knowledge? When we already have certain knowledge. Say, suppose there is a law which we already know about, domestic violence, for example. We know about domestic violence laws, or we know about dowry prohibition laws. So if there is a particular law at hand, and we try to find some loopholes in it, we try to find some gaps that we want to fill, that would be validating existing knowledge, trying to build upon what is already available at hand. Another thing would be to generate new knowledge, that is to build something new which has not been done ever before. For example, to bring in a new law related to gender parity, related to gender pay gap, something related to any other topic that is of contemporary significance, maybe data privacy or something which is unique, which is new to India, and which we would have to now legislate for. We'll have to generate something new. We'll have to do a research to bring something new. So that would be generating new knowledge. So research basically has an agenda which is twofold. One is to validate existing knowledge, to amend something, to correct something, to add up to something which is already available. And second one is to generate something completely new, completely afresh. There could be different types of research. Now, there are different types of doing research. Basically, if you are from a pure science background, if you're into pharmacy, biology, chemistry, in physics, then you have laboratory-based research. You have something which is purely technical, and you do not have to deal with something vague or something changing, something like human behavior, human mindset, okay, mens rea. So these things are not there when we talk about pure sciences. It's basically laboratory based research, practice based research, okay, clinical trials based research. So that is more scientific. Another kind of research would be market-based research, when we deal with topics such as advertising, consumer behavior studies, management, psychology, okay, different organizations, industries, economics. So there we have to talk about different trends in the marketplace. That is another kind of research model we can think of. However, coming to the law field is very unique. There we cannot deal with machines or animals or markets and trends. It's a very unique field where we have to deal with human beings, human emotions, okay, human sufferings, social phenomenon, social evils. So our focus would be more or less on legal research, where we talk about the interaction of law with society, interaction of law with human psychology, interaction of law with households, with companies, with different areas like intellectual property rights. So our focus would be more or less on law and society. Okay, that is legal research, which is related to law, social sciences, and its allied fields. Our focus today and tomorrow would be on legal research, and not on laboratory-based research, and not on management or practice-based research, market-based research. We are focused only on legal research. So what is legal research? Legal research in simple terms would mean the process of identifying and retrieving information necessary to support legal decision making. Legal research. Okay, many of you might be from from the legal background. You might be interning at some law firm or with some advocate. You might be interning for some NGO. So you might already be doing this, or maybe if you have participated in moot court competitions, client counseling competitions, you know what legal research is. It is simply the process of identifying, retrieving information legal provisions, the sections and subsections of law. How does law fit into a particular paradigm? Okay, if there is a problem at hand, how will you find solution for it legally? So to support legal decision making, to arrive at some legal decision, in order to maybe counsel, to give some solutions uh, for an existing problem, you would have to do legal research. So there comes the debate of scientists versus social scientists. That is, we are not scientists. We cannot work in a laboratory setup. Legal research goes beyond those four walls of a laboratory. We are social scientists. That is, society itself is our laboratory for lawyers, for those who are working in humanities, social sciences. So this is a long debate. Legal research needs to be conducted by observing human behavior in the entire social science setup. That is, we need to think about different human behaviors. If we are talking about criminology as a research area, if we talk about criminal law, we'll have to think from different perspectives. That is, the mindset of the accused, the mindset of the victim, the legal implications, the court proceedings, the society's stigma or the society's approach to a particular crime. All of these things will have to be dealt with, will have to be perceived, will have to be studied from different angles. So ultimately, we are not dealing with chemicals, compounds, animals, machines. We are dealing with human beings, human emotions. So the legal research, if we see, it's not that easy. It becomes a little tough. Okay. Legal research is both a science as well as an art or a skill. There are different types of research methods. You might have covered these topics at times when you talk about your LLM dissertation, when you talk about your thesis. You might have dealt with different types of research methods which normally are taught at colleges. So research is up to you, what kind of problem you choose, what kind of methods you want to select as per your problem. For example, you are talking about a particular problem area. Let's take up cybercrime. Okay, cybercrime against children, cyber crimes against children. If you take up this particular problem area, cybercrime against women, so this problem area can be dealt with in different ways. You can do a descriptive research. You can maybe take up a survey kind of a research, an analytical research. You can ask maybe 100 people living in an area about their perceptions about cybercrime against women. Is the graph, is it increasing? Are cyber crimes in India increasing? Are they on the rise? Why? What are the causes? What are the effects? Are particular age groups more vulnerable, more susceptible to becoming victims of cyber crimes? Okay, or what are the different types of cyber crimes? So you will have to take surveys, you'll have to do that deep analysis of the responses that you get. So you can choose whichever model suit your particular research area, whichever topic and whichever method or model your research guide approves of, maybe your professor or your research guide approves of. Accordingly, you can take that particular research method and you can go ahead. Okay, these are certain in general guidelines, or in general, we can say pointers. Of course, when you want to take up research in detail, you'll have to speak with your professor, and it would depend upon what kind of problem area you are choosing. Accordingly, then you can go ahead with the particular method. First, we'll see descriptive. What is descriptive method? It involves describing a problem and its features. Merely simply describing a particular problem and its features. Say, suppose cybercrime in India, okay, and the IT Act. How is the IT Act dealing with the rising cases of cybercrime? So you have to just describe the problem in your study, in your research. You just do a description. You are not going to analyze it critically, or you're not going to, go deep into the statistics of it. You're just going to describe it. Analytical is just the opposite, involves critical in-depth analysis and evaluation of already existing phenomena or problems. Analytical is just the opposite. That is, you'll have to critically analyze. That is, you have to evaluate why a particular problem came up, or why are the cyber crimes increasing, or why have cyber crimes increased more in the cities than in the rural areas. So you can do a comparative study. Okay, in which cities are the cyber crimes on the rise? Is it more amongst the youngsters than the middle-aged or the senior citizens? And who all are the, the offenders? Okay, who are the persons who are getting attracted to this world of cybercrime? So that would be an analytical study. Okay. Third would be applied. Involves finding solutions to practical problems, everyday problems, also known as action research. Applied method of research or action research is particularly useful when there is an immediate application involved, when you just have to, take an immediate action. Say, suppose there is some phenomenon on the rise. Let us take the example of white collar crimes or cyber frauds. Again, we'll take that example. If cyber frauds are on the rise, or there is some kind of cyber attack, then what can we do? Can we take years of research and then try to find a solution to it? Practically, it's not possible to wait for that long. What would we have to do? Find some solution which has immediate application to stop that kind of cyber attack, to block that kind of attack, to prevent that kind of attack, and to spread awareness at the same time. So that would be applied research, taking immediate action. We cannot lose out on time. Fundamental research. The next type involves theory building by answering fundamental questions, also known as basic or pure research. This helps building a particular theory. Now that we live in a world of theories, we have so many theories, legal theories I'm talking about, which are already there for us. So this kind of research is to develop a proper theory. For example, we have Roscoe Pound's theory, okay, theory of social engineering. So this particular theory, when it was first built, okay, when it was first carved out by Roscoe Pound, when he talked about lawyers as social engineers, lawyers who have to do something for the society, they have to build the society. When he gave that kind of an approach, it was basic research or a proper pure theory research when it came up for the first time. That was a fundamental research at that point of time. Now, maybe it is not new theory because we already know about it. There is nothing novel in it. If now someone comes up with a new theory, it would be fundamental research or pure research. Next, conceptual method. Okay, conceptual method of research involves concepts. The term itself suggests conceptual comes from concepts and abstract ideas. When we talk of different abstract ideas, say suppose there's a concept like basic structure doctrine. This is a concept. Now, if we want to study about constitutional law, we cannot do so if we do not know what is the basic structure. Does preamble form a part of the basic structure? So these are certain concepts that we take up. Your constitutional framework, preamble, basic structure, and then we build upon our research upon those concepts. Similarly, when we talk of criminal law, you can take 2-3 concepts from criminal law, which you want to study in depth further. Say, suppose you take up dowry debts, or you take up offenses against marriage. Okay, you take up adultery as a concept. After you take up adultery as a concept, you'll have to see certain sub-concepts, certain sub-areas and themes, and then you'll have to build your entire research upon that particular concept. That is conceptual method of research. Correlational. The next is correlation. You might have studied this even in your school, even in your law school, and even before that, when we talk about correlation between two variables. Okay, it involves the study of correlational relationship. We try to study the relationship between two variables. Direct, there can be a direct relationship, indirect, positive relationship when both the variables go in the same direction. For example, increase in cyber technology has also led to an increase in cyber crimes. or domestic violence against women. So when one variable is increasing, that is, access to cyber technology is increasing, again, the other variable is also increasing in the similar manner in the same direction. That is, the cases of cyber crime against women or the cases of domestic violence against women are also increasing because of increase in technology. So here both the variables are going in the same direction. That is positive correlation. There can be a negative correlation or an inverse correlation. That is, when one variable goes in a particular direction, the other one goes in the other direction. That is, one increases, the other decreases. If there are more stringent regulations when it comes to environmental pollution, the cases of environmental pollution will reduce. If we increase the penalty on polluting industries, if we increase penalty on those who are polluting the environment, if they have to pay heavy fines, what will go down? The pollution will go down. The air pollution or the noise pollution, the water pollution, the rate of pollution will go down. So here there is a inverse relationship. One goes up, the other goes down. So that is how we study the relationship between these variables. Zero or no correlation is where one variable has no effect on the other variable. So this model, this method of research, correlational method, uses different statistical techniques. The data that you collect, the data that you process and analyze requires use of various statistical techniques and different statistical tools. Okay. This is again very interesting. Empirical. Empirical involves gathering primary data, the data that you get freshly from your field work based on observation. You can observe human behavior. You can observe a particular concept or a scenario or your research problem. And then you can try to find the right kind of data and analyze it. That is observation studies. Survey, you can directly ask people to give their opinion about a particular thing. You can conduct surveys. Interviews, there can be individual interviews or group interviews, which will give you primary data. And that data is really useful in order to arrive at certain important findings. Okay. Only reading about the research papers of others or certain books or on the internet, different sources, these doctrinal sources, these books or doctrines or rules might not give you that fresh data which you can actually collect from the field. That is the reason in certain areas, empirical data becomes important. That is gathering primary data from the field. Another kind of research is experimental, which involves manipulation of different variables. Okay, the independent variable, studying its impact on the dependent variable, and the testing of hypothesis. It requires testing of your hypothesis, the statement that is a tentative research statement, which you have to test in your research. And when it gets tested and verified, it at the end of your research, it becomes a fact, okay, a proven fact. So experimental research again is of various kinds, and there are different other types of research that we come to next. Next, historical. It involves studying a concept or problem since its inception in the past and looking at how it has evolved through the ages till the current times. So trying to dive deep into the history of a problem. That is also known as evolutionary method of research. We are trying to see the evolutionary trends in a particular concept. Let us take the concept of child marriage. So how did it start? When did it start in our distant past? What were the reasons why child marriage became a problem? Okay, how is it a problem? What were the negative effects of child marriage? And what are the current trends? After introducing certain laws, do we still have cases of child marriage? Okay, so that would be going into the past, looking at that particular concept since its source, since its inception, and now looking at the current trends. And how can we take it forward? How can we solve that particular problem? What can be done to address it in the correct way? So that would be your historical method or evolutionary method. Ethnographic research, that is the thing we come to next. Ethnographic involves the study of a group or a community and their unique cultural traits, their characteristics, behavior, their festivals, okay, the way they live, the theories that they have built amongst themselves, certain cultural practices. So that would be the study of a group or a community as a whole, ethnographic research. Phenomenological research, that is the next thing. It involves the study of a social phenomenon, its past, present, and future. For example, we can take the concept of domestic violence, we can take the concept of dowry, dowry as a social phenomenon. Why did it start? How did it start? How did it become a social evil? Okay, then what kind of laws were introduced? Okay, when the laws were introduced, what was the response of the society? And does it that particular concept perpetuate itself? Does it still exist? Do people still give dowry? Do people still receive dowry even after it is penalized in a way? So dowry, were there a number of dowry deaths in the past? Are there any dowry deaths today? So, and what would be the future? So that is phenomenological study, similar to the historical method, but here we talk about a social phenomenon, a social problem, which has started in the past, it is still continuing in the present, and we have to also anticipate its future. Not just the current times, we talk about the future as well. We go one step ahead where we anticipate what will be the future outcome. Okay, next. Quantitative, qualitative. These are the next methods that we come to. Very famous, popular we can say two methods, quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative involves answering the question what. It deals with numerical data. It deals with collection of data, processing, analyzing data in a very technical manner. We are only concerned with what, that is numbers. Okay, it deals with quantity, amount, numerical data, numbers. Qualitative research method involves study of human behavior in depth. So we just cannot stop at what. We'll have to also ask why. So it answers the question why. How come? Why did a particular thing happen? Why did a particular crime happen? Say suppose a person, there are a few people who have committed murders, okay, multiple murders in a particular manner. So why did they commit murders in the first place? And what would be the impact of that particular thing? So we are just not talking about quantity here. We are also talking about the particular human behavior, its impact on the society, how to control it or prevent that particular crime. Okay, so it also answers the question why, what and why. So quantitative would be what, qualitative deals with quality, traits, features, so why. Another method includes both quantitative and qualitative. You can also combine both of these methods. Okay, most of the law students, especially for the LLM dissertation, what do? They combine both qualitative and quantitative. They conduct surveys for some part, and for other parts of their study, they might also go in for an interview. They conduct few interviews, and probably they can compare some of their findings, and they can combine the qualitative and quantitative. So basically, it is known as mixed methods research, a mix of both quantitative as well as qualitative methods of research, overcoming the shortcomings of each individual method by using a combined approach. That is known as mixed methods research, which requires the knowledge of both quant as well as quantitative and qualitative. And there are a few other principles that you need to follow, that is known as triangulation. There are other types also, just an overview. Setting based research, where you have to focus on certain settings, that is your research setting. It can be a hospital setting if you are doing medical legal research. It can be, we can say, a school, a primary school, if you want to study the system of education for toddlers. If you want to study the system of education, especially which focuses on primary education and what kind of laws can you introduce, so that would be your setting. Hospital setup or school setup, primary school setup, that is your setting. Rural area, urban area, metropolitan city, a corporate, a bank, okay, a prison. A prison would also be your setting. So setting based research is your research setting, which becomes important for your subject matter of research. And from there, you collect the data, you compare, analyze the data. Hence, your setting becomes important. One time research or longitudinal research. You can conduct your research only one time. That is, your research might be done in a very fixed period of time, a tight schedule. For example, 1 year, you require 1 year for your research and you complete it within that time span, within a particular budget. However, there can be longitudinal research also, which is just the other way around, where you might have to conduct periodically your interviews every 3 months or every 6 months. You might have to go and check how that particular human behavior is developing. For example, if you visit a rehabilitation home, if you visit a correction home where maybe juvenile offenders are kept, they are getting a proper schooling there, they are getting reformed there, there's some change of heart, they are engaging in different productive activities there. So you will have to visit that particular place. You visit there, you go and conduct certain interviews. After every 6 months or every 3 months, after a particular interval, you again go and visit to see what is the difference, okay, between that interval, what good things that they have picked up from your last visit, and how are they improving upon it. So that is how there can be a longitudinal study. You can go again and again to your field, collect that data, process and analyze it. Clinical, diagnostic, decision oriented or conclusion oriented, grounded theory based, these are the different other types of research. Deductive, inductive. So every research that you do has some, all of these have some merits and some demerits. Whichever method you choose, you'll have to do it after consulting, after speaking with, having a word with your concerned professor or research guide, especially for your LLM dissertation, or when you talk about your PhD, you'll have to speak with your guide what kind of topics you can choose and what would be the suitable research methodology. Accordingly, you can combine even 2 or 3 out of these different methods. You can take empirical quantitative or empirical qualitative or descriptive in some part and longitudinal in some other, along with quantitative. So you can choose any of these and you can combine and do whatever does justice with your research problem. Impact analysis, cause effect model, cause intervention effect model, that is another one. So once we have gone through, we have just touched upon the different research models, the different types or methods of research. Now let us go on to who all do research. Of course, we all do research, but why do we do research? So research and its utility, as well as how is it going to benefit us. Scientists, companies, advertisement agencies, all of them do research. Okay, everybody does research for various purposes. Pharmaceutical companies have to do their R&D before launching their products, medicinal products, before launching their pharmaceutical products. There cannot be any product that enters the marketplace without proper research. Similarly, the different government policies or different schemes that come to us, they also have to be researched well. Their benefits, their positive outcomes, also the shortcomings, and only then after proper research can those policies come to us. Similarly, different kinds of laws, different kinds of schemes, different kinds of legislations and judgments that we see, they all have to be first analyzed, researched upon, to see their strengths and weaknesses, to see their positive and negative impact, to anticipate how they are going to affect our lives. Only then can they be introduced. So, coming to legal research, who all do research? Students, LLB, LLM students, those who are doing PhD, they have to do more in-depth research. Academicians, professors, those who teach you, they also have to do their research and come to the classroom. Otherwise, they will not be able to do justice with their work. They will not be able to teach. Students will not be able to focus. Students will not be able to get knowledge out of the entire process. So again, they also have to do their research. Think tanks, NGOs, policy makers, legislators, all of them require research. They need to do a lot of research before introducing, as I said, any scheme, any policy, any law. It requires a lot of research. Advocates, activists, journalists, news reporters, so whether it's print media, whether it is social media, whether it is uh, online or TV news, irrespective of the medium, research is required. Magazines, journals, editors of books, publishers, publishing houses, they also require a lot of research. Domestic and international organizations, funding organizations, like there are different organizations where you can apply for funding for your research. If you're doing PhD, you can also apply for funding, okay, for a scholarship to do research. So different organizations also require researchers, and they do research in their particular specific area, okay, their expertise or their area. National Family Health Survey, National Commission for Women, UN, United Nations, UN Women, World Intellectual Property Organization, WTO, World Trade Organization, World Bank, ILO, WHO, Oxfam, Medicine Sans Frontiers, everybody has to do their own research. Okay, so research is something which is extremely important, indispensable. We cannot live without research. If there is no research, many of our problems would not be addressed properly, and many of the solutions that we have today, we might not have them in place. So research is the key. Research is what is important, especially in a field like law. Yeah, on the right hand side, this image, if you can see, it's like a research cycle. It's like a circular thing that is going on. You start with an idea, you develop it, you get funding, scholarship for it, you study it, you plan it further, how you will accomplish it, how will you try to find solution to a problem, record it, process it, publish it. You publish your findings, you publish your research papers, your dissertation, you upload it on the internet. Other researchers will read about it. Other researchers will get to read about your work. And again, you go back to reading a lot, getting new ideas, developing new ideas, and the system goes on. So it's like a circular process. Read more to know more. Once you know more, you publish more. Once you publish more, you again read more. Okay, so it's like that cyclical process. Next, why research? Utility of legal research. Research is important to quench the thirst or curiosity for knowledge. That is what we all know about. That is the primary thing. But more important to us when it comes to law and research is finding certain solutions to problems. When it comes to legal and socio-legal research, research helps to find gaps or limitations to the current laws or policies. And your research would do what? It would amend them, suggest changes for making them better, or making new laws, introducing new policies, introducing new schemes, okay, that is better and cogent laws in order to address particular problems. No laws can be perfect or final. We cannot say that if there is a law, it is final. We cannot say that a criminal law is final, or a law which addresses cyber crimes or technological problems is final, or maybe a law that talks about gender equality is final. There are no laws that can be final. Laws have to keep changing with the changing needs of the society. Family laws, for example. Earlier, there was no concept like getting divorced by mutual consent. There was only the fault theory, that is, the husband finds fault with the wife or the wife finds some fault with the husband, the marriage cannot continue and they want to file for divorce. Now the situation is that if they do not want to continue the marriage due to certain reasons, they can file for divorce. They can institute the proceedings on the basis of mutual consent. They do not have to, wash dirty linen in public. They don't need to make certain allegations against each other, finding faults and mistakes in each other. Instead, by mutual consent, they can do it. So there are certain amendments that were brought into force. There are certain changes that were made to the laws. Why? Because the society needs them. The changing needs of the society impel the legislators, encourage the legislators to make changes to the laws as well. Okay, and law also in turn changes the society. Law needs to change and keep up with changing needs of the society. No discipline or branch is left untouched by law. So we can see several different sectors which are actually unconnected, yet they are connected to law. Law finds a way into them. Okay, law regulates them. Engineering, infrastructural development, environment, medicine, artificial intelligence, artistic works, literary works, choreography, musical works, dance performances. All of these are regulated by law. For example, we have law related to land, okay, related to redevelopment, infrastructural development, property laws. We have laws related to artificial intelligence or technology or transfer of technology, intellectual property rights. We have laws related to medicine, surgery, code of ethics that doctors have to follow. So law is everywhere, and research is also everywhere. In each of these fields, there is legal research. Social research without investigation in law is also no use. That is, it goes both ways. Both interact with each other, law and society. Same way, legal research without investigation into society is of no use. To introduce new laws where there are none existing. So it is a twofold process. We try to investigate into existing problems or existing laws. We try to amend the existing laws, or we try to introduce laws where there were none existing, where there were no laws earlier, previously, there was nothing. So we try to legislate afresh, okay, de novo. Newly, we try to bring in something. For example, India had to introduce new laws such as Environment Protection Act, Information Technology Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act, etc. So why did we bring in these? Maybe these things, these laws were not that relevant 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Okay, but now they are. So they were brought into force. As per the level of awareness of the society, changing needs of the society. Maybe 100 years ago, Environment Protection Act I was talking about was not that important. Okay, we did not know about so many climate, we did not know about climate change or global warming. 100 years back, the pollution level was not such high. So the society was also at that level, that the human society had other problems to take care of. But now the situation is totally different. We can see environment changing each and every day. Okay, we can see the air quality index. We can see how there are floods in some part of the country, or there is drought in some other, or in some other part of the world there is some other environmental crisis, and we need to save every drop of water today. We need to save every drop of like water and every piece of food, because there can be an food scarcity or a water shortage. So it's important not to waste water. Water laws have become more stringent. Air laws, okay, noise pollution. We did not have any rules 100 years back. Noise pollution, okay, anybody playing loud music at a marriage, at a function, was not a big cause. It was not a big problem, but today it is. Okay, you need to have the right kind of awareness. Okay, whether you can play that music at what time of night. Okay, what would be the decibel that is permissible limits. So all of these things are important today, because the level of awareness, the needs of the society, and accordingly, law has to be reciprocal. Law also has to reciprocate. Law also has to be changing and adapting. If we speak of public utility services, research is a must. Okay, research is a must when we talk about public services or FMCGs, fast moving consumer goods, different consumer goods that we use every day. Research helps to provide better quality services and varied options, different options to consumers at competitive prices to choose from. For example, maybe 30-40 years ago, there were hardly any internet services, right? There were hardly any things that people knew of. Now there are so many different internet services. There are so many different packages that we can choose from. There are so many different uh, television programs we can choose from. Okay, mobile phones, we can choose different companies, we can choose different models, we can choose different technologies. Would it be possible to introduce such variety without research? No. Would it be possible to improve upon the existing model or the existing mobile phone or the existing technology every 6 months, every 2 years? Would it be possible to do that jump without research? No. So research helps to provide us with better quality of goods and services. If we speak of universities, why is research important? It helps in connecting students and academia to the job market. Universities have to do rigorous research also for other reasons, that is NAC, okay, for NIRF, for ranking, for UGC, because they are bound to follow certain government rules and norms, Bar Council of India. So they have to, law colleges have to do research and they have to submit their research according to certain norms. Students can show their research publications, they can show what all research they have done and apply for good internships, placements, for different jobs within India or even abroad, for their higher studies or for jobs. So research is going to help them as well. It's not just that universities or faculty or consumers are getting benefited. It is also going to help the market. It is going to help the employers, the students, and the employees. Students are would-be employees. Okay, the students, once they get into the job market, they become employees. So from that perspective, it is important for everyone. Research is going to help everybody. Where to publish research papers and how to identify predatory journals. Okay, this is a very interesting topic, basically, because this is the practical aspect that we all have to do. We have to publish our research papers. But where do we get to publish these? There are many platforms, there are many areas, there are many journals which are actually fake journals. Okay, they are fake platforms or they are fake or predatory journals. That is, we must not publish in such journals. If you want to make a good impact in your academic career, it is always advised to choose a good journal for publishing your research papers. Why do you need to choose a good journal? Because we have to look at certain guidelines, international guidelines, when we publish. You should not publish in a predatory clone or fake journal. What is a predatory journal? A journal which looks like an authentic journal, which looks as if it is a journal from a proper source, a good source, but actually it is not. Okay? Predatory journals would be defined in simple terms as ones which do not publish authentic data. They do not actually publish good research. They lack peer review process. That is, they do not actually review the research papers that you submit to them. They do not send it to different experts for their comments. They do not do the editorial process very well. There is no editorial board at times. There is no editor-in-chief at times. And they often even charge exorbitant fees for such kind of publishing. So it is always better not to send your journals directly to them, your research papers to them. You need to find out which are the good journals and only then you send your research papers for publication. So do not be in a hurry to submit. Do not hurry. Okay, haste makes waste. So do not hurry. Do not be in a hurry to just haphazardly submit somewhere and get the publishing done. always be sure of the journal that you are publishing in. Always have a look at the guidelines to find a good journal, and then only you should send your manuscript. Okay, so how to do that, we'll see that. Yes, so these are certain guidelines. You can take a screenshot if you want. You can write it down somewhere if you want, because these are actually going to help you practically when you sit to publish your articles, when you want to go ahead and get your name on a particular article in a journal. It is going to help you. First, select your topic or problem area. Find journals that might publish articles on your chosen theme or topic. For example, if you choose cyber criminology as your theme, you can publish in the Journal of Criminology. So find out which journals will publish your articles. Do not just send en masse, just don't send it to everybody at large. Okay, just try to narrow down your research area. You want to write on criminology, in that you want to write about cyber crime, cyber criminology. Against whom? Maybe against children, against women. Okay, in which areas? Maybe in when it comes to urban areas, metropolitan cities. And then you, after narrowing down your research, you also find out which journal would be the most suitable for publishing. Okay, the Journal of Criminology would be the most suitable, not the Journal of Medicine or not the Journal of Gender Studies. So you have to find out which one is your most suitable journal. Second would be, then check if it's an online journal or a print one. If it has an online presence, go to that website, check the proper website if it's a proper journal or not. It can be a clone journal. That is, it can be the cloned copy of an original journal. The original journal might be a university journal or something very different from the cloned one. Do not submit to cloned journals. Do not submit to fake journals. Okay. Another one thing that you need to keep in mind is check whether that particular journal has an EISSN. Okay, ISSN is the International Standard Serial Number. Okay, every journal has a unique ISSN number. If it is a print one, it would have an ISSN number assigned to it already. It is a print journal. However, if it's an online journal, that too should have an EISSN. Check all of these requirements first. Only then send your article or your manuscript. Do not be in a hurry to send. If you are publishing in a book, it would have a unique number, that is ISBN. If you see call for papers, submit for a book, edited book, always check ISBN number. Check the who is going to be the editor-in-chief, who is the publisher, whether it's a university journal, whether it is a private journal. Always check all the contact details, only then send. Check whether it is indexed in UGC Care. UGC Care Group 1 and 2 journals. This is a unique list which is maintained by UGC, which is University Grants Commission, our government body, and they are highly reliable journals. If you want to publish in Group 1 or Group 2 journals. Okay, do not publish in any private journals. Just to start with, just like a basic thing that you want to do, you want to get published as a law student or as an academician, as a junior advocate. You are working on some particular research area and you want to get published. Try to publish in Group 1 journals, which are domestic journals, which are Indian journals, Group 1. So just go on the website UGC Care. That is it is developed, it is managed by SPPU, that is Pune University. So just go on to that website today, check all the journals in Group 1 and Group 2. Try to find your research area and match it with the journals that are available. For example, you want to write about family law, you want to write about something related to marriage, something related to divorce, something related to judicial custody of children, or something related to custody battles, something of that sort. Find out which kind of journal, which journal from this list, Group 1 and Group 2, which journal will publish your research work, which journal will readily accept your work based on the title of the journal, the theme, the sub-theme. Okay, so this is one thing that you can do, and it's very interesting to, even in your pastime, even if you're free time, you can go through this website. Okay, UGC Care, Group 1 and Group 2 journals. Whether it is indexed in Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar. These are the other indices. These are the areas where good journals get indexed. So always try to publish in these. UGC Care for India, or for abroad if you want to go to some international journal to publish, check whether it is indexed in Web of Science, Scopus, or Google Scholar. Always advisable. A predatory journal will not have an ISSN. At times, it will not even be indexed in any of these. So better not to publish in such a journal which is very new, or maybe which does not even have an ISSN number assigned to it, or which is not indexed in any of these. Whether it has an impact factor. Check whether it has an impact factor, which is based upon its last 2 years performance, the journal performance. Check about the impact factor. Always publish in high impact factor journals. Okay, high impact factor journals. Do not publish in low impact factor journals. Do not publish if the journal displays anything which is fake. If the journal is displaying on its website predicted impact factor or self-calculated impact factor, it is fake. Do not go for that particular journal. Okay, do not publish in it. Okay, it is predatory journal for sure. Do not publish in it. Publish only on a journal which you can find has proper details, has a good impact factor, which is indexed in a UGC Care or Group 1 or Group 2 list, or Web of Science, Scopus, or Google Scholar. That is the magic mantra. Okay, you have to first check on these different platforms. If you find your journal there, go ahead. If it does not have an ISSN number, EISSN number, if the website looks cloned, fake, do not go ahead. Predatory journals do not have a good editorial board. Many a times they do not even provide contact details of their journal. The journal website or the address is actually that of a person, not the institutional address. Okay, they do not even mention proper address, city, pin code, country, etc. They do not give you all of these details. So there comes into your mind that there is something which is wrong. The contact email ID is of a person, not the institutional email ID. For example, it might be ending with yahoo.com, gmail.com, hotmail.com. It might not be ending with .edu.in, .edu.uk. So it is actually not an institution which is running that journal. It might be a person who is doing it for money. So you better beware, and you have to first check about the journal's credibility, its reputation, its performance. Only then go ahead to publish. Predatory journals often charge huge fees for publishing. Sometimes they ask for website maintenance costs from the author. So at times they also ask you to pay. Okay, you have to pay a huge amount even before you get published, even before they put your research paper on the website, or they publish it in a journal. You get the hard copy. Even before that, they ask you to pay. So that might be something which again raises questions, and it might be open to scrutiny. So beware of these things. The journal, the author should also check previous issues of the journal. The journal should have its previous and current issues if they are published. If not, then better not go ahead. Always try to ask for a copy of the earlier edition or the earlier issue that is published, so you get an idea of who all are publishing in it, what is the quality of the research that is published, whether that data is verified. Okay, it would not be surprising to find low quality research papers floated whose data has also not been verified. That is the reason they are not reliable. So always try to find out about the quality of the research papers that are published, as well as who are publishing them. That is very important. Don't publish on AI powered platforms. There are so many websites these days which are powered by AI, artificial intelligence, where human beings actually don't even read what you have written. They do not review, they do not correct, they do not edit your research work. They just publish it as it is because it's AI based, it is done by the computer. So do not publish on such platforms because they are hardly doing any peer review. There is nothing as such which is going to be genuine. Anybody can upload anything, and that research might not be actually good research or quality research or verified research. So better not to publish on such platforms. And even good academia, good faculty, and good researchers who are well placed will not publish on such platforms. So better not to publish on such AI powered platforms. Better to go for a journal which is actually managed by human beings. Check whether your journal is open access or paid access. Your journal might be open access, that is, everybody can read it for free, or maybe paid access, that is, you might have to, as the author, you might have to pay a little fee so that it is open access to everyone, or the readers will have to pay a little fee, that is subscription based, to access your content. So you better know about all of these processing charges before you proceed. Check on DOAJ, that is Directory of Open Access Journals, Sherpa, Romeo, UGC Infonet. Check on these platforms before you proceed. That is, you might come to know whether your journal is available as an open access journal or it is a paid journal. So whether you have to pay that amount or the readers of your journal will have to pay that amount, you get that clear first. Only after that clarification, you proceed. A predatory journal will not have any plagiarism policy in place, and thus it will violate intellectual property rights. That is plagiarism, copy paste. If a journal is just publishing papers with high plagiarism, with high kind of similarity, high kind of copy paste, it is not going to be a good journal. Try to avoid such journals. What is plagiarism? We will discuss this tomorrow. But for now, just keep in mind that you have to publish in a journal which has a low level of plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically when you copy something from different other research papers or books and you do not even give them their due credit to the author. It's a mere copy paste. You have not paraphrased it, not summarized it, not written in your own words, and you do not even acknowledge the authorship of that particular person. So when journals do allow such kind of plagiarism, the reputation, quality of that research goes down. Better not to publish in such journals which have high level of plagiarism. A good journal will always follow certain international guidelines, basically the Cope and Wame guidelines. There are international guidelines when you come to publishing research, but a predatory journal will not follow these guidelines. A predatory journal on their website or even in the brochure, they will never mention that they follow these guidelines. So these are certain important institutions which keep a check on the research that is done, the research that gets published. If you have any queries, if you have any complaints, you can complain to them. They have the power to entertain those complaints, to pass a decision. So predatory journals will not follow the guidelines. A predatory journal, a fake journal, will also not have a proper copyright arrangement policy or a retraction policy in place. That is, once you complain to that journal, see, my research is already copied by somebody else, or their plagiarism is more, or they have not taken proper permission from the original author and they have published a particular research paper, kindly retract it, kindly take it down, do not publish it, do not let it be accessible on the internet. If you complain to them, if it is a fake journal, it will not take it down, it will not entertain that particular complaint. So it does not have a proper retraction policy in place. Okay, so you'll have to keep in mind all of these things, especially when you want to do your PhD or you want to publish your dissertation, you want to upload your research, you want to do a proper research for research project, and especially if you're getting funding for it, your scholarship, you'll have to go through these guidelines. Okay, you'll have to check all of these things, whether they are in place, and only then publish. Okay, otherwise later or at some later stage it might cause some problems if it's a predatory journal. Predatory journals will accept your submission within 24 to 28 hours, within 48 hours, 72 hours. You'll just get your publishing done without blind peer review. That is, without actually looking at the authenticity of your publication. In blind peer review, both the authors and reviewers keep their anonymity. That is, both the author and the reviewer do not know each other. The reviewer has to select the particular article or the research paper based on its merit. Only the editor knows the identity of all the parties involved. Thus, the reviewer take their time to read, review, suggest changes to the manuscript, which may take even weeks or months, after which they communicate to the editor that this particular manuscript is good to go. Let us go ahead with this article. Let us go ahead with this research paper. Only then the article sees the day of light, that is publication. So this entire process takes a lot of time. After proofreading, after spell check, editing, that particular uh, research paper gets published. Hence, always publish with good research journals, always publish with research journals who are following this blind peer review process. This leads to good research publishing, good quality peer reviewed journals, which can be relied upon. The data in such journals can be relied upon. You can trust them for their authenticity. Where to find a good journal? You can find a good journal in any of these. You can take a screenshot of this. Elsevier Journal Finder, Scopus Journal Selector. These are certain websites, certain databases where you can find certain good journals. You have your UGC Care Group 1 and 2, Web of Science, Scopus. You can check there whether they are indexed in those indices on those platforms. Only then you select your journal. University journals where you work. Say, suppose you're working at a university as a faculty, or you are a student there. You know of certain university which has its own journal. You can publish there because it's a university journal. It is an authentic journal. They are not going to fool you. Okay, so you can depend upon them, you can trust them. So you can go for any of these university journals, UGC Care Group 1 and 2, Scopus, DOAJ, Director of Open Access Journals. You can have a check. You can just go and check on these websites and then make your informed decision. So do not be in a hurry to publish. There might be many fake journals floating around. Better to check properly and then only publish. Whatever research publication you make, that is, wherever you choose to publish your research paper and whichever topic you choose for your research, irrespective of that, it should have these three or four elements. That is objectivity, validity, accuracy. You cannot publish certain things which are fake. You cannot publish something which is not valid, not accurate. Okay, always publish something which is irrespective of the topic, something which is valid, which is true, which is accurate, authentic. Reliability, consistency, it should give the same results. Okay, if the same experiment or the same research is replicated, it is done again in some other setup, it should give the same results. That is reliability, replicability, consistency. These are the essential characteristics of your research, irrespective of whatever topic you choose, whichever theme you take up, whatever problem area you choose, and wherever you publish. These are the essential criteria, the essential things: objectivity, validity, accuracy, reliability, replicability, consistency. All right.
Okay,
Over to
ma'am.
you.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. It was a lovely session.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.